It's no secret that companies spend a lot of time and energy trying to get every dollar they can out of you. But most don't realize just how many psychological mind tricks they use on you every day. From ways they're ripping you off by packaging your products, to little-known psychology tricks they use to get you to spend way more money. French fries. This one is kind of a basic trick, but it's something you should look out for next time you get some fast food. In 2017, someone on Reddit asked, what did your job want you to hide from the customers? On the thread, someone said they used to work at McDonald's. They explained that McDonald's taught him how to pinch the fry carton just right when putting the fries in. This was to make sure it looked full, but it actually wasn't. Basically, they squashed the carton so it looks like you're getting way more fries. But there's a whole lot of space where they've pinched down where the fries won't go. This may seem like a pretty small saving for them, but seeing as McDonald's fries are sold every second of every day all the time, this adds up to a lot of money. McDonald's got so much heat for this that a spokesperson had to step in. They said that they always try to appropriately fill the boxes and bags of fries. And they said that's so customers can enjoy their world-famous fries to the fullest. But I think they'd enjoy them a lot more if the carton was actually full. That explains why your fries don't stick out of the carton like in commercials. So watch out for this next time you order some McDonald's fries. Excessive use. This is something to watch out for in advertisements. And it's a mind trick that consumers use to make you buy their product over and over again. In shampoo commercials, you'll notice the actors and models always use the product way more than they need to. For example, instead of taking a small amount of shampoo or toothpaste, they will squeeze a ton out. That is to encourage you to burn through their product much more quickly. They want you to emulate the exact same thing that the models do on the adverts. But this makes you run out of their product very fast. Food commercials will also do this, showing the actors making gigantic meals. And in drinks commercials, they will always pour out the entire bottle, not just take a sip. There are other ways companies subtly send you a message about how to use their products. For example, pay attention to wireless commercials. Over the last few years, you'll notice that they're using younger and younger children in their ads. Of course, they're not targeting young kids, but it sends a message to parents that it's normal for kids to have smartphones. Of course, years ago this was not the case, but commercials aren't simply just to make you buy a product straight away. They are trying to condition you to think about their product and their brand in a totally different way, even if it takes many months or years for them to make a return on that investment. Delivery tracking. Nowadays, when you buy something, you want it straight away. We've all been there, where we order something and then sit for hours staring at the delivery screen. For things like Amazon purchases, this is actually accurate information. That's because your product is scanned with barcodes at every single point. Where companies trick you, however, is with food delivery tracking. Many people order a Domino's pizza and then sit for ages waiting for a tracking website to update. But all of those pizza delivery tracking websites are totally false. There isn't someone sitting there updating your pizza every single time it's taken out of the oven or a piece of pepperoni's put onto it. Instead, it simply relies on average wait times. The Domino's pizza tracking technology was made in 2008, quite some time ago, and that animated bar on their website is simply based on average wait times. This actually backfires if the pizza is taking too long. That's because sometimes the tracking bar is going faster than the people. At least you know that there's not some Domino's worker updating the progress of every pizza they make. Otherwise, I can't imagine how much longer the pizzas would actually take to arrive at your door. Call centers. This is a very clever trick that most companies do not want you to know. Have you ever called up a customer service line and it's gone to somewhere across the world? Most of the time the person is talking with a script and also a language barrier. This can make things very time consuming for you and also annoying. While on the phone to customer service, I'm sure you thought, why can't I just speak to someone in my country? Well, if you're in the USA, there's a way to do this. If you call up and ask to speak to someone in English, most of the time they'll send you to an Indian call center. But if you select the option for Spanish, you'll likely get transferred to a call center in Texas. And from there you can simply just speak English, as those people speak both English and Spanish. The reason why they do this is because there's way more calls that come in for English speakers. That's why it's way cheaper to outsource those jobs to India. But there's only a few people who need to speak to someone in Spanish, so they can afford to do it in Texas. This is the case for many companies' support lines. Because it costs the companies a bit of extra money, it's something they don't want most people to know. But it's a pretty clever way to get around someone reading a script and who doesn't speak the language perfectly. Decoy Products. In the biz, this is known as the asymmetric dominance effect. It basically involves bringing in a decoy product in order to make people buy more. Let's imagine you're thinking about buying two different bottles of wine on a shelf. They're both pretty similar, but one is $10 and the other is $30. This makes both bottles seem expensive. But if there was a decoy product, a $50 bottle of wine which is way worse, then you'd think the others are reasonable. The decoy product basically lowers your expectations and makes the other products look way better. This is done most commonly with computers. You may have two expensive computers with similar specs and similar prices. Most people would think it's way too expensive and not worth it. But when you bring in a decoy with worse specs and a higher price, this makes the other two products seem way better. You're then much more likely to choose between one of them. So if you've ever been shopping and seen a product with way worse specs and way higher prices, then you've been a victim of a decoy product. Anthropomorphism. There's something in human brains which makes us love thinking of animals and objects like humans. Many people give their boats names. They talk to their pets as if they can talk back. And even as kids, we have stuffed animals with names that we talk to. Companies know this odd thing about human brains and exploit it to their heart's content. That's why brands often have a mascot. It's because it attributes human characteristics to an object or brand. This makes us see the brand or product like a human and thus empathize with it. The anthropomorphization of brands makes us trust them a lot more. This cognitive bias creates an emotional connection between you and a product or company. Researchers at Elon University found that if you have an anthropomorphic character, your sales will increase. Researchers at Elon University found that if you have an anthropomorphic character, then your sales will increase. It's kind of surprising to think about, but when you do, you'll realize almost every big brand has some form of anthropomorphism going on. Gruen transfer. Have you ever been walking around a mall or IKEA and got lost because it's like a zigzagging maze? Well, that's not a bad design flaw. In fact, it's very much intentional. It's known as the Gruen transfer and is named after the mall architect Victor Gruen. Victor Gruen found that the best way to get shoppers to spend more was to make it impossible to escape his malls. This is still used today, and it's the reason why malls and superstores are made in a maze-like way. Ironically, a sense of disorientation sways people into a false sense of security. This makes them feel very at home in your store, and it also makes them cover more ground, meaning that they will see more products and buy more too. Look around your local store and you'll see that it goes in a counterclockwise route. That's because 90% of people are right-handed and will use their left hand to steer the cart. Many stores also won't have any clocks and won't use natural lighting. This suspends the sensation of time, and it's a similar technique that casinos use to make people stay there longer. Also, stores will place basic items like milk and bread at the back of the store. This means if you go in to get something basic, you have to walk past a bunch of things you don't need. This will probably make you stop, look at them, and maybe buy them. The disorientating store layout also distracts you. This is done on purpose, and it's thanks to a study from Stanford University in the USA. The study found that when you're distracted, you're much more likely to take risks. This would include things like impulse buying, so that's why stores keep you distracted and disorientated. Price anchoring. Price anchoring is also known as overpricing. Let's say that you pick up a menu in a restaurant. You see a dish for $100, so you go down and pick a cheaper option. Well, if you've done that before, then you're a victim of price anchoring. There's a cognitive bias, which means customers rely heavily on the first piece of information they get. So if the first price of a meal you see is $100, then that is your baseline price. Anything lower than that seems much cheaper, even when it's not. Car dealers also do this all the time by setting the standard price of the car way higher than it should be. This makes them seem like they're cutting you a great deal, when really they're still overcharging you. Simply because it's the first price they see, that means they think that cheaper vehicles are a good deal. You're much more willing to accept a high price simply because it's lower than the first price you saw. Size matters. You may think that today humans are eating more than ever, but there's actually a secret growing trend in companies, which is making food portions smaller. That would be fine, only they're not doing this with a reduced price. To make their products seem more competitive, they'll simply reduce the size, not the price. Also, many fast food places have been caught increasing the amount of ice they're putting in their drinks. That's so they can give you much less drink. One study from the Daily Mail found companies are reducing their product sizes from 6 to 12%. But now that you know these psychological tricks companies are using, maybe you can get ahead of them. I don't know about you, but I feel pretty dumb after knowing how much I've been getting tricked by companies. But now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below which was the sneakiest way companies are tricking you. If you want some more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. There are some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.